What a time it was when a 15,000 rupee phone was like packed with features. Redmi Note 3, legendary. Realme 1, brother of a legend. Mi A1, Moto G4. I mean, where did they go? Why did they go? And more importantly, how did they go? I mean, I'm not like 60 or anything, but kids these days, I mean, phones these days, no character, no identity. But you know what? It seems like all hope is not lost yet. Yeah, there's actually one phone that kind of ticks all the right boxes under 15K, and the best part is it's going at 14,999 without the bank discount. And I'm talking about the Realme P3, and I know spend a little more and you can get the Oppo K13. There's also the Infinix Note 50S under 15K. But honestly, if you ask me, I'm a little inclined towards this. But you know what? Before we talk about the bad in this phone, let's talk about what's good, really good under 15K. Look, first off, the design. I mean, for a phone in this price range, this has character. Plastic body is a kind of norm in this price range, no denying that. But this doesn't really feel very plasticky whenever I hold it, and I can't say the same for something like the Oppo, which is like clear out plastic. Now talking about the character, you get this pattern, this orange here, the orange in the power button. So like I said, character. Now there are some subtle colors too if you want, just saying. And this is 7.9mm thick, weighs 194 grams, so not exactly lightweight, but pretty comfortable. I also like the fact that this is not too big or too wide, which is the case with a lot of phones these days. And the big deal, this has the IP66 rating, it has the IP68 rating, and it has your favorite IP69 rating, which is very rare in this price range. I mean, the Infinix does not have it, nor does Oppo, so wash it, be a lover boy in the rain, all good. But jokes apart, this is actually a good addition, especially in this price range. Adding to that, this has stereo speakers, which are actually very loud, very nice, especially for this price segment. And we compared this with the Infinix in terms of speakers, and we found this better. Anyway, this also has a USB 2.0 Type-C port, an in-display fingerprint scanner that's pretty fast, a hybrid dual SIM slot, so yes, micro SD support is here, and even the display is great. Yes, there is a slight chin at the bottom, but I guess that's a norm too in this price range. But the flat 120Hz AMOLED is very good. It gets bright enough outdoors, no visibility issues. It doesn't support HDR in Netflix, but it does in YouTube, which is something lacking in the Oppo K13. And honestly, the screen has good colors, it's sharp, and Realme UI here has animation, so it all looks great. And I like how it's also packed all the basics. Screen protector pre-applied, a nice case in the box, not one of those cheap ass transparent ones. You also get a 45-watt fast charger in the box, and yes, this is packing in a big 6000 mAh battery. And I've seen people boasting on Reddit about 10 hours, 12 hours of screen on time on this phone, but our heavy usage kind of got us around 8 hours, which is still very good. And the 45-watt charger takes around 1 hour 10 minutes to fully charge the 6000 mAh battery. Now, another thing that kind of makes it killer under 15K is the kind of performance this brings. And we've seen how well the 6th Gen 4 performs in the Oppo K13, and it's very stable here on the P3 too. And when it comes to benchmarks, it does very well, scoring higher than Infinix, be it in Antutu or Geekbench. And I like how the stability in 3D Mark is like top notch. There's also no throttling, no heating issues after say a long BGMI session. We even did FPS tests, and BGMI supports 90 FPS max, and we got an average FPS of around 88, which is really good. And if you ask me, the gameplay is also very good. Now I know this isn't a full-blown gaming phone, but in Genshin, the gaming is decent at the highest settings, and you can expect slightly better performance by adjusting the graphics to medium. Now day-to-day performance is also very smooth. I did notice some lag when updating apps via the app market, but other than that, no lag, very good performance, so that's probably an app market thing. Now the base variant of this phone, which is under 15K, has 6GB RAM, and we have the 8GB RAM version, but I don't think the performance would differ as much, but yeah, something to note. Plus, and this is kind of nice to see, even though this is a budget phone, you get the GT mode and all the gaming features like bypass charging, power tuning, etc. on a phone under 15K, so like I said, really good. And in terms of cameras, it practically has a single 50-megapixel camera, and on the front it gets a 16-megapixel camera, so very standard fare. And talking about photos from the primary camera, for a phone under 15K in good light, everything looks pretty good. Sharp, decent amount of detail, colors are generally a bit poppy, and HDR processing is good too, and even human subjects have the right sort of skin tone. Now in portrait mode, there's no 2x option. Instead, it just crops a bit from 1x by default, which is a little strange, but photos turn out good enough, as you can see, especially in good light. The selfies from the front camera to have good colors, details, and are overall appealing. Now, before you go all happy and excited, hold it, because Komolika is about to enter the chat. Villains तो हमारे ज़माने में होते थे, मतलब. So like I was saying, the photos in good light are pretty good for the price range, but it's only in the low light where you kind of see the budget phone tendencies. I mean, it's not all bad. I mean, low light, some photos look decent enough, sure, but a lot of them also come out blurry at times, probably because of no OIS. I mean, it's not always the case, but yeah, low light performance is average at best. Even in videos, you notice the lack of OIS because the stability isn't great at 4K 30 FPS, and the video quality is decent, but nothing out of the world. Now, we also compared the camera with the Infinix Note 50S, and it does seem to capture better photos and captures more natural colors. The HDR performance is slightly better, but in low light, its larger 64 megapixel sensor just captures more light and the photos are sharper and more detailed. I mean, I still prefer the Realme when it comes to human shots, but overall, Infinix takes the win in terms of camera. Now, that's not all. There are a few other concerns with the Realme P3 as well. I mean, this is running Realme UI 6 based on Android 15, and this will get 2 OS updates, so standard stuff, no problem. And I like that it has animations, all the features, but it has a lot of bloatware. These pre-installed apps, these games are also there, and I generally love hot stuff, but these hot apps and hot games aren't very sexy. There's also glass lock screen, and yes, you can disable all of this, but yeah, not really a clean experience, which I know is also kind of the norm in this price range, but not everyone knows how to disable this, so. Then there are a few other points. This has UFS 2.2 storage, which I wouldn't say is a big deal at this price. Even Infinix has the same. But I know phones like the iQOO Z10X bring UFS 3.1 under 15K, but then it has its own sort of compromises, so not recommending that. And yeah, this also does not have the IR Blaster, which can be useful. It also does not have Gorilla Glass on the front. There's also no NFC, and there's no PWM dimming in the display. Look, all said and done, I know there are a few negatives here and there, but yeah, the Realme P3 is probably the most well-rounded smartphone under 15K, for sure. I mean, it's just bang for your buck. It gets almost all the important factors spot on, and that makes it to me the best phone under 15K. Having said that, if you want a slightly better camera, then the Infinix Note 50S is also pretty good in this segment. I mean, you won't get the IP68-69 rating, and you will have to live with a curved display and slightly inferior speakers, but other than that, very good phone, better cameras. And if you can increase your budget, the K13 is not very different, but it does have some advantages, slightly better battery life, UFS 3.1, and there's also IR Blaster. And then there's the CMF Phone 2 Pro with pretty bad speakers, but really good everything else, and an experience no other phone can match. But yeah, if your budget is strictly under 15K, this is probably the most solid choice. And talking about solid choices, time for you to make a solid choice for once in your life. Hit that subscribe button. यार लोग तो हमारे टाइम पे होते थे, मतलब सब्सक्राइब कर दिया. आजकल देखो सब्सक्राइब बोल के मतलब मरे जा रहे हैं. कर ही नहीं रहे लोग.